down the stretch, now addressing the media.
Hey, Jrue. I guess we'll just kind of start with the block. Coming off the inbound, what did you see how to develop, and obviously how did you get to the position you were in?
I just saw Marcus drive, and Pat kind of cut him off, and I felt like he couldn't see Jaylen Brown behind him, so I just went up for extra protection and got the block.
Was that instinctual to just grab it?
I didn't want to hit it and make it go out of bounds. I wanted to keep it in bounds. I think it's just kind of, like you said, instinctual. It's not like I planned it out or anything. Just went after it. So, yeah, just tried to grab it.
And then to end, I guess, the game, it was the loose ball. From our vantage point, I just couldn't quite see how that ending steal played out as well.
Kind of seemed like Marcus kind of lost it a little bit. And from there, took another dribble, and I went for it. But felt like he didn't really have control of it at that point.
We've asked you at the start of the year through this year about experience and how do you quantify that, or what does that mean, I guess, in close games, late games throughout this year. But for you, when to hit that three, I know you're not shy about that kind of thing. But what was in a game like this, and you're not shooting as well as you probably like? Just where does that come from, or where do you draw from to take that shot to tie the game and kind of having that confidence?
It was a wide open shot. It was a shot where Bobby, pump fake white guy, flew by. Another guy came at him, so they were scrambling. And at that point, I can't really turn it down. It was a wide open shot. It was a good look for me, and shoot it with confidence. And every shot that I take, I think is going in. I'm pretty mad when I miss them because I feel like they should have went in. So I'm really just sat in there and locked in and knocked it down.
I have more questions about the block. On the block, did you know where your feet were? Because you tiptoed on the way down, you managed to stay in. How were you kind of aware of where you were on the floor?
I think we've been playing this game long enough to kind of fill that out. It's kind of like with that corner three, knowing where out of bounds is and knowing where the three-point line is. So I think playing this game long enough, I think anybody in that position probably would have done their best to try to stay in bounds.
And then to throw it off smart, is there something when you try to throw the ball at someone? I don't think you typically do it. Are you trying to hit his hip?
Well, at first I was trying to see if I could throw it to somebody down the court, and obviously throw it away from our basket, just because that's rule number one. But when I didn't see anybody and I saw Marcus kind of come with his hands up, just try to throw it off his chest and kind of at an angle to where it wouldn't come back and hit me.
Just for you hit a big three, but also Giannis hits that big three that takes it from 6 to 3. Just what do you think of his performance tonight? I think it's 40 points, kind of taking over multiple points.
Just being Yanni. We rely on him for so many things, defensively, but especially offense. He kind of gets us going, and again, to shoot it with that type of confidence where people don't consider him a three-point shooter, but him being that open and it being a kick-out three, that's what he's been working on, and timely three, and he knocked it in.
I think they scored their 98th point with 8 minutes left. That means they scored 9 points across the final 8 minutes. What did you guys find? It felt like you were struggling all night to get stops, and then you closed that game with just stop after stop. A
little bit of luck. No, I think it's just the intensity of the game, knowing that we're confident in our defense. I think everybody kind of stepped it up a notch to really just sit there and be like, well, we got to get stops. And from there, Pat did a great job switching on the guys. Bobby did a great job switching on the guys. Wes always does great, but I think it came down to kind of Pat and Bobby just playing well and playing solid, not letting them get to the basket and get easy layups, but contested tough twos.
I know you said, after the last game that you liked some of the shots you were taking and they just weren't falling. Just how did you feel in this game?
Same way. Again, there's a lot of shots that I've been taking and I like, and they might hit back rim or they might rim out. Again, I got the type of team and coaches that tell me to continue to shoot that because they're going to need it. And down the stretch, I had a wide open three. So,
And then just, you guys obviously still got more of the series to go, and you don't want to stay sort of even keeled, I know, but to win this game at the trail end of the fourth quarter, to come out of here and go up right now, just kind of what is the feeling? How huge is this for you?
it's a big win. That was the plan. The plan was to come here and to get a win, and no matter if we were up 20, no matter if we were down 20, we wanted to leave here with the win, and we did the best we could and got the win.
Jrue, when you're down 14, I think it's about 10 minutes left in the game, you'll have a timeout. Does that feel kind of like almost an now or never moment where you start to run out of time to get your opportunities in check and get that offense moving?
Honestly, we was in timeout talking about there's a lot of time left. We've seen 14 points decimate just like that. We know it's the playoffs, and we know this is a great offensive team and defensive team, but we've also done it ourselves where we've been up and just kind of walked teams down, or teams have walked us down and kind of came back. So we just always stay with that confidence that there's always going to be time left, and if we take care of business, we'll always give ourselves a chance.
And what can you say about Bobby's sort of dirty work?
Huge,
on the night?
huge. I mean, I thought I had it. Me and Marcus were fighting like at the 3-point line, and I thought it was coming straight to me. And man, Bobby came out of nowhere. That was big. That was huge.
Is part of what has defined you guys in this run, dating back to last year, but certainly still part of it this year, your ability to find the path to a win, even when it looks pretty narrow to other people, to figure out how to win a game like this?
I think a lot of it is just confidence in ourselves. Obviously we're in Boston. We're down 14 in the fourth quarter. Like, kind of just people would say that everything's against us, but we come together. And I feel like we've done that multiple times, and we'll live and die by that. Having each other's backs, just wrapping arms and going out there and fighting. And honestly, just leaving it on the line, leaving it out there on the court every single game.
Thanks, Jrue.
All right.
And now Bobby Portis, who added 14 points and 15 rebounds.
It's not like a shot, right, where it's like, hey, walk us through the setup and what you saw. So when that moment, I guess, when it's a box, I think Ime is doing this to Grant, and you've got to get that ball. What does that kind of play like in terms of just trying to get an actual tip on it to get it in? What does that kind of feel like or look like for you in that kind of moment?
Man, I ain't gonna lie, like growing up as a kid, I really wasn't like never skilled or really had like one thing that I really did well. I was always like a jack of all trades, did everything good but nothing great. But one thing I always did was had like a high motor, big energy, and my mom always told me as a kid just to be a garbage man. And being a garbage man is, if you want scoring opportunities, if you're not getting the ball passed to you, you go get the ball on the offensive glass. And that's one thing my mom always taught me. So shout out to my mom on that. But to answer your question, me and Wes always look at each other. And, both of us are guys that crash the offensive glass. That's one thing that we do to help the team. And just crashing. And we always just try to, I don't want to give away our secrets what we do, but we just, just try to, crash the glass as much as we can. And I was in the right place at the right time.
And you had a couple, I think just before that, had missed a layup and had a bunch.
It actually slipped out my hand. Like when I did a dribble handoff with Pat, I slipped behind my man. And I was going up to dunk it, and then the ball was like slippery, and it slipped. And then I got it back and shot it back again. I missed twice, and I'm like, damn, man, I can't believe I just did that. And then just stayed with it. It's a long game. You got to play 48 minutes.
How much did last year's? We've asked you a bunch about, and your teammates, about experience and what does it mean? How can you quantify it? Is last year's run and being in those kind of games set you up for that, where you're not running back the other end after play just kind of wrapped up in the ball slipped or I missed that or we're down 2 and I had a chance and I didn't do it. You know what I mean? Like would Bobby 5 years ago been a little more wrapped up in it,
Nah, shit. Bobby 5 years ago wasn't ready for the playoffs and wasn't ready for this moment, man. 5 years ago I was 22 years old, still trying to figure out what my niche was in this league, trying to still trying to figure out what I can do to help a team win, still trying to get fucking rotational minutes. And just kept grinding, kept staying with it, never giving up. And now I'm in a good position playing on a championship team with championship aspirations. But, to answer your question, like I said, man, experience to me is being in, different type of situations, like I say. Being in, those different, situations where you're down 8 or down 10 with 8 minutes to go and you have to find a way to cut the lead down before the next media time's out to see where you are then. Then you put together another game plan in those next 6 or 7 minutes or 5 or 6 minutes to figure out what are you going to do to cut the lead down again before the next media timeout. And then again, like I say, man, the playoffs is all about moments. It's not about how many shots you make, not about how many points you score. It's just about moments to me. And we have a lot of guys on this team that can have moments.
Bobby, one of those moments was you putting the ball back in to put your team ahead. What does it feel like to take the air out of a building like that? The Garden had been pretty loud to that point, and to make that shot kind of change the whole feeling in the building. For you in that spot, what's that feel like?
I mean, honestly, man, as a basketball